My name's Alexis Bailey. I'm Tristyn's second oldest sister.
And just so the court's aware, if you would just tell the court the order of the siblings.
So my oldest sister is Brittany Bailey. Again, I'm Alexis Bailey. I'm the second oldest sister, followed by my brother Tegan Bailey, Sophia Bailey, and then Tristyn was the youngest of the family.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
$114. Of course. This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure. It was 1 hour and 42 minutes between when my sister was last seen and when Aiden Fucci was next seen, running out of the woods holding his shoes because his feet hurt. It's funny that such a simple statement can bring such anger. Aiden Fucci could show compassion for his sore feet, yet had nothing to leave for my beautiful sister. The number of questions I have for Aiden Fucci surrounding that night plague my mind. Did she see you coming at her with the knife? Or did you stab her while she wasn't paying attention? Did she scream out for help? Or was she paralyzed with agony? Did she cry for my mother? Did she beg you to stop? Did you hear her lungs gargling with blood? Or did you see it in her face when she realized she could no longer breathe due to her collapsed lungs? What were her last words? Did you stay to watch her die? Or did you leave her there in agonizing pain as you ran away? How long did she suffer? Did you watch the life leave her eyes? Do you know the answer to any of these questions, or were you too caught up in the thrill of the kill? The last time I heard my sister's voice was May 8th, 2021. I have racked my brains trying to remember the last words she said to me. Was it "I love you"? Was it "goodbye"? Or did we say nothing at all? What I do remember is her walking out that door. I have nightmares about that moment. In my dreams, I try to reach out and grab her, beg her to spend the night, anything to prevent what happened just hours later, yet every time the door closes before I can get to her. The memories of May 9th will forever be ingrained in my mind, body, and soul. To know I was awake and only 11 minutes away from my sister as she was being brutally murdered. Could I have saved her? I remember the vivid feelings of my body collapsing on the ground as the police informed us that they had found a body. Then, finding out hours later it was Tristyn's body, I remember becoming physically ill and having a detective grip my hair as my body uncontrollably expelled everything from my stomach between my sobs. The pain I felt in every nerve as I watched my dad lying on the floor, screaming in a way no human should ever be able to produce. Our family broke that day, and I don't recognize any of us anymore. I have watched my parents going from believing that they were good parents to believing they were failures. I have listened to my parents question, what did we do wrong? What kind of mother or father was I not to protect my child? I have watched them overanalyze every conversation, every action, trying to figure out what they could have done differently. I've watched my older sister, Brittany, become unrecognizable with anger. I've watched my brother, Tegan, emotionally shut down and avoid the family due to the pain being home causes. I've watched my younger sister, Sophia, completely lose her childhood and be cast into the role of being a parent and being the resident therapist for my mother. I've seen the changes in myself, the responsibilities and burden that I have had to undertake because of the actions of Aiden Fucci. I am the one who had the responsibility of speaking with the funeral home and forcing my parents to decide which urn to put what remained of Tristyn in. I was the one who had to pick her up from the funeral home and make that long drive home with her ashes. I have what remains of her beautiful blonde hair, now stained red, sitting in my house, haunting me daily. I have had to become the safe place for my parents and hold space for their feelings. I have had to commit every detail of Tristyn's murder to memory so that whenever someone has a question, they need only ask and not be burdened with looking up the answers themselves through the hundreds of pages of court documents and police records. I bear the thoughts that one day the trauma we have all been through because of the actions of Aiden Fucci will cost the lives of my other family members. I have been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. I have been unable to work at times during this process due to the trauma and PTSD attacks triggered by knives, blood, and open wounds. My relationships have suffered. My physical and mental health has diminished, and my goals for the future have seemingly disappeared. Aiden Fucci didn't just take Tristyn's life that day. He took everything from us. Our family, sense of security, laughs, health, and potential. For us, justice does not exist in this case, and closure does not exist in this case. Peace, understanding, and forgiveness will never come. The duty of this court today is to determine and weigh all the factors in this case, to decide the just sentence for the crimes Aiden Fucci committed, with retribution and potential rehabilitation sadly being considered. The only justifiable sentence in this case is a full life sentence. Anything short of that would be an insult to not only our justice system and community, but to our family and Tristyn's legacy. Lastly, I would like to add my own stone to the 114 that I added for Tristyn. This white stone represents my trust in people, which died the day that Aiden Fucci chose to kill my sister. Thank you for.
In the heart of St. Johns County, Florida, a community known for its historic charm and serene landscapes, two young lives intersected in a way that would forever alter its fabric. This is the story of Tristyn Bailey and Aiden Fucci, a tale that challenges our perceptions of safety, trust, and the hidden complexities within seemingly ordinary lives. Tristyn Bailey was a 13-year-old girl whose presence could light up any room. Born on January 18, 2008, in Singapore, she moved to Florida at a young age, becoming the youngest of 5 siblings in the Bailey family. Tristyn was more than just a student at Patriot Oaks Academy. She was a dedicated cheerleader, known for her unwavering commitment and infectious enthusiasm. Her friends and family described her as energetic, compassionate, and always ready to stand up for those she cared about. She had dreams of taking her cheerleading passion to professional heights, embodying the spirit of a young girl with aspirations as bright as her smile. Aiden Fucci, born on November 6, 2006, was a 14-year-old classmate of Tristyn's at Patriot Oaks Academy. To many, he appeared as the average teenager navigating the complexities of adolescence. However, beneath this facade lay darker inclinations that were not immediately visible to those around him. Reports later revealed that Aiden had a troubling fascination with violence, often speaking about fantasies that were both alarming and deeply disturbing. These revelations would come to light only after tragedy struck, leaving many to question how such signs could have been overlooked. St. Johns County, with its picturesque settings and tight-knit community, was the backdrop to this unfolding narrative. Known for its rich history and as a haven for those seeking a peaceful life, the county had rarely been touched by the shadows of such a grievous act. The community prided itself on its safety and the close bonds among residents, making the events that transpired all the more shocking. On the night of May 8, 2021, as families in St. Johns County settled into their routines, an unthinkable act was set into motion. Tristyn Bailey was reported missing the following morning, sparking a search that would grip the community and the nation. The discovery of her body, bearing the marks of a brutal attack, sent shockwaves through the hearts of all who heard the news. This video aims to delve deeply into the events surrounding Tristyn Bailey's tragic death. We will explore the meticulous investigation that followed, the legal proceedings that sought justice, and the profound impact on a community forced to confront the unimaginable. Our purpose is to honor Tristyn's memory by shedding light on the circumstances that led to this tragedy, fostering awareness and prompting reflection on the unseen facets of those we think we know. As we journey through this story, consider this. How well do we truly understand the inner worlds of those we encounter daily? And what steps can we take to ensure that the vibrancy of individuals like Tristyn is preserved and protected? Stay with us as we navigate the intricate details of this case, aiming not only to recount the events, but also to reflect on the broader implications for communities everywhere. In the heart of St. Johns County, Florida, where moss-draped oaks line the streets and the gentle hum of cicadas fills the evening air, a community thrived in the comfort of familiarity. Neighbors exchanged warm greetings, children played freely in sun-dappled yards, and the notion of danger seemed a distant thought. Yet within this serene enclave, an undercurrent existed, unseen, unspoken, but potent enough to shatter the illusion of safety. Tristyn Bailey, a 13-year-old beacon of joy and ambition, embodied the spirit of youth. Born on January 18, 2008 in Singapore, she was the youngest of 5 siblings, each cherishing her as the family's heart. Her early years in Singapore infused her with worldly curiosity, a trait she carried with grace upon moving to Florida. At Patriot Oaks Academy, Tristyn's passion for cheerleading wasn't just a pastime, it was her calling. Her teammates saw her as a leader, her coaches as a prodigy, and her family as a shining star destined for greatness. Aiden Fucci, a 14-year-old classmate, traversed the same hallways and shared the same classrooms. Born on November 6, 2006, Aiden's exterior presented the facade of an average teenager, unremarkable to the casual observer. Yet beneath this veneer, complexities brewed. Peers recounted unsettling tales of Aiden's fascination with violence. He spoke, often and vividly, of dark fantasies, of dragging unsuspecting souls into the woods, of the sensation of a blade meeting flesh. His ex-girlfriend revealed chilling accounts of his behavior, pretending to stab her, claiming to hear voices when angered, and an obsession with knives that he carried as casually as a wallet. St. Johns County, with its picturesque landscapes and tight-knit community, stood as a testament to idyllic suburban life. Families flourished in this enclave, drawn by reputable schools, safe neighborhoods, and a sense of belonging. The crime that unfolded here sent shockwaves rippling through the very foundation of this community. Residents, once secure in their routines, found themselves grappling with a new reality, one where the facade of safety had been irrevocably cracked. On May 9th, 2021, Mother's Day, the Bailey family awoke to a nightmare. Tristyn was missing. The hours that followed were a blur of frantic searches, desperate calls, and a community uniting in hope. But hope turned to horror when her body was discovered in a nearby wooded area, bearing the marks of a brutality that defied comprehension. 114 stab wounds, each a testament to a rage unfathomable. This documentary delves into the events surrounding Tristyn Bailey's tragic death, the ensuing investigation, the trial that sought justice, and the aftermath that left a community forever changed. Through meticulous research and heartfelt narratives, we aim to honor Tristyn's memory, raise awareness about the unseen dangers lurking within our communities, and reflect on the profound impact of this tragedy. As we embark on this journey, consider, how well do we truly know those around us? What signs do we overlook in our daily lives? And how can we, as a society, protect the innocence and dreams of individuals like Tristyn? There are moments in life that pass by unnoticed, small decisions, seemingly harmless choices. A message sent, a door opened, a step taken into the night. At first, they don't feel like turning points. They feel ordinary, like any other night, any other walk, any other friend. But then, there are nights that don't end the way they should. May 8th, 2021. A quiet Saturday in St. Johns County, Florida. Houses lined up neatly, porches glowing with warm lights. The streets were still. It was the kind of neighborhood where families felt safe, where parents never imagined danger could be waiting just beyond their doorsteps. Inside one of those homes, 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey was enjoying the start of the school holiday with her family. Laughter filled the air. Conversations drifted from room to room. But something else filled the air that night. Something that no one could see. In another home, not far away, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci was also awake. His phone screen flickered in the dark, messages appearing and disappearing. Plans being made. Tristyn's phone buzzed, a few quick taps on the screen, words exchanged, a decision. At first it was nothing unusual, just a late-night meetup, a friend, a short walk. No one in the Bailey household would have thought twice about the sound of a door gently clicking open. No one stirred as Tristyn stepped out into the night. She didn't take a bag, didn't tell anyone where she was going. She was still in her cheerleading outfit, a jacket thrown over for warmth. The streets were empty, no cars passing by, no eyes watching from windows. But the cameras were. Surveillance footage would later reveal her figure moving in the distance, a shadow under the streetlights. And just ahead of her, another figure. Waiting. Aiden Fucci. They walked together, disappearing down the path toward Durban Crossing. A shortcut. A familiar place. Tristyn didn't know it, but these were her final moments. At 1:45 a.m., her phone went silent. No more messages, no more activity. By 3:30 a.m., she was gone. She never made it home. And Aiden Fucci had already started preparing his story. The next morning, a family would wake up expecting to see their daughter in bed. Instead, they would find her room empty. A search would begin. A nightmare would unfold. And a question would echo in the hearts of everyone who heard what happened next. How could this have been prevented? By the time the sun rose on May 9th, the Bailey family was already searching. Calls went unanswered, messages delivered, but no replies came. Tristyn was missing. The streets of St. Johns County were the same as they had been the night before, quiet, undisturbed. But something was different now. Something was missing. And then something was found. A report came in. A resident out for a walk spotted something in the brush near a retention pond. A glimpse of fabric, a flash of color. It wasn't just a missing person anymore. It was a crime scene. Her body lay in the clearing, her cheerleading outfit still recognizable, but the rest, 114 stab wounds. A number that would haunt investigators. A number that meant this wasn't random. This wasn't an accident. This was personal. At 1:45 a.m., a security camera on a quiet suburban street captured two figures walking side by side. One of them would never return home. At 3:30 a.m., another camera recorded movement, this time only one figure. Aiden Fucci. Alone, running, holding his shoes. Not long after, inside the Fucci home, lights flickered on. The bathroom sink ran. Blood swirled in the water. There was no time to clean everything, no way to erase it all. By the time investigators stepped inside on May 10th, the truth was already waiting for them. Aiden Fucci's bedroom told a story before he could. A knife sheath with no knife, a pair of jeans, stained, a bathroom sink, scrubbed, but not enough. And when they searched the pond near Tristyn's body, they found what they were looking for. A knife. The tip was missing. The autopsy would reveal where it had gone, lodged inside Tristyn's skull. This wasn't a moment of rage. This wasn't one impulsive act. This was controlled, deliberate, methodical. And when Fucci was brought in, he didn't seem surprised, but he wasn't the only one who had something to hide. Inside the interrogation room, Aiden Fucci sat, arms crossed, unfazed. But outside, a surveillance camera inside his home had caught something else. His mother, Crystal Smith, holding his jeans, examining them, taking them into the bathroom, and washing them. Blood swirling down the drain, evidence. But why? What made a 14-year-old commit something so brutal? What was going on in his mind? And was this really the first time he had thought about doing this? What investigators would uncover next would make the community question everything. Tampering, desperation. She thought she could erase it. But investigators had already seen enough. In the days that followed, Tristyn Bailey's name echoed through St. Johns County. But not in the way it should have. Not in a school gym. Not at a cheerleading competition. Not in the laughter of a girl with a bright future ahead of her. Instead, it was whispered at vigils, engraved into memorials, carved into the hearts of those left behind. A community doesn't just lose a person in moments like these. It loses its sense of security. It loses its trust. And as the courtroom filled with those seeking justice, her family stood in the same space as the one who took her away. Aiden Fucci sat motionless, but the weight of what he had done sat heavier. 114 times, a number impossible to ignore. A number her sister Alexis would make sure he never forgot. One by one, she dropped small, aqua-colored stones into a glass jar, each one a reminder, each one a wound, each one a silence that could never be filled. A painful sound, a deafening truth. By 3 a.m. on May 10th, Aiden Fucci was in custody. At first, it was second-degree murder, but the evidence spoke louder than any excuse he could offer. By the end of the day, that charge had changed. Justice was delivered. Sentences were passed. But for the Bailey family, there was no true closure. There is no sentence that brings back a daughter, no verdict that erases a loss. Still, they chose to take the unimaginable and turn it into action. The Tristyn Bailey Memorial Foundation was born, not from tragedy, but from resilience. It helped spark new legislation. It fought to protect the dignity of victims. It made sure that what happened to Tristyn would not be reduced to a spectacle, that her suffering would not be exploited. But the law can only do so much, and that leaves us with a question. What drives a 14-year-old to commit something so brutal? What makes someone not just take a life, but destroy it again and again with no hesitation? How many warning signs were ignored before that night? And most chilling of all, who else is walking among us, thinking the same thoughts, waiting for the moment to act? This is more than just a case. It's a reflection of the world we live in. A reminder of the dangers that can exist even in the most unsuspecting places. Now, I turn this over to you. What do you think drives someone so young to commit such an act? Did the warning signs go unnoticed, or were they ignored? And most importantly, what can be done to prevent another tragedy like this? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's start a conversation, one that could save a life. If you found this story impactful, consider sharing it. Awareness is power, and the more people who hear Tristyn's story, the more we can work toward change. Subscribe for more in-depth investigations into real-life cases that challenge us to think, reflect, and act. And if you or someone you know is struggling, don't stay silent. Resources are in the description. Help is available. Tristyn's life mattered. Let's make sure her story does too.